This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. As I've said a million times, the key to mind control is repetition. And when you spot a pattern, when you see them repeating the same thing over and over again, this is them beating this into your head, not just in the case of a fake reality, a fake history of the world that they've done to us throughout our indoctrination in the school systems, but also with things that they have planned, things that are coming, right? I just covered that with the democracy video, where we hear them constantly talk about threats to our democracy when, in fact, this isn't a democracy. So they're convincing people that everything is going to crumble, but in the name of democracy, not a republic, so they can blame it on you. Well, one of the other things that we've heard over the years, and I've covered it over the years, and we are getting very close to, I believe, it actually happening, is the potential assassination of Donald Trump. Now, the programming is in place, and it could happen either way. But for us to get to what they want, which is a civil war, which is also predictive programming that's in place, and I'll show you that, it's going to take something massive. And the only thing that I can think of, and I'm only thinking of it because they're telling us this, would be some type of false flag assassination on Trump or potentially on Biden that would completely divide this country and create utter chaos. And again, that's their motto, order out of chaos. So Donald Trump did an interview with Tucker Carlson on Twitter, which got, I think it said 200 million views as of me recording this, which is funny because that's way more than they get on CNN and MSNBC, possibly even in a year, because nobody watches that garbage. But Tucker Carlson did an interview, and we had these talking points that people need to hear about. One is Donald Trump. Are you worried about being assassinated? And two, what about a civil war? These are the clips from that interview.
It started with protests against you, massive protests, right. Organized protests by the left, and then it moved to impeachment twice,
right.
And now indictment. I mean, the next stage is violence. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you, honestly?
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick, really sick. You have great people in the Democrat Party. You have great people that are Democrats. Most of the people in our country are fantastic, and I'm representing everybody. I'm not just Republicans or conservatives. Right. I represent everybody. I'm the president of everybody.
Do you think we're moving towards civil war?
There's tremendous passion and there's tremendous love. January 6th was a very interesting day because they don't report it properly. I believe it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken before. And you know some of the crowds I've spoken before. And like July 4th on the mall, I think they had 1 million people there. But I think that the biggest crowd I've ever spoken before was on January 6th. And people that were in that crowd, a very, very small group of people, and we said patriotically and peacefully and patriotically, right? Nobody ever says that. Go peacefully and patriotically. But people that were in that crowd that day, very small group of people went down there, and then there are a lot of scenarios that we can talk about. But people in that crowd said it was the most beautiful day they've ever experienced. There was love in that crowd. There was love and unity. I have never seen such spirit and such passion and such love. And I've also never seen simultaneously and from the same people such hatred of what they've done to our country.
So do you think it's possible that there's open conflict? We seem to be moving towards something.
I don't know, because I don't know what it, I can say this. There's a level of passion that I've never seen. There's a level of hatred that I've never seen, and that's probably a bad combination.
So all one has to do is look at all the programming that's been in place about Donald Trump and a potential assassination. They've been showing us this year after year. Never before. Now, there have been assassination attempts, supposedly, and these are usually Manchurian candidates, which are CIA operatives like Reagan. Obviously, we all know about JFK. We know about Robert Kennedy. But this with Donald Trump has been a repetitive theme. And it hasn't just been a repetitive theme, which I'll show you, that we've seen with stories of people trying to bum rush him on stage when he's speaking, which has happened numerous times. It's also been something we've seen Hollywood use, where we've seen Hollywood celebrities like Johnny Depp music industry celebrities like Snoop Dogg and Madonna, comedians or so-called comedians like Kathy Griffin, doing things that you would never, ever see before. I covered this recently, showing you this repetition again, with holding up Donald Trump's decapitated head, Snoop Dogg shooting Donald Trump, Johnny Depp calling for the assassination of Donald Trump, Madonna calling to blow up the White House. This stuff is all done by design. And the pattern is there because what they do is they show you this in advance. This isn't just universal law. This is a way that they can get people prepared for these types of events to occur. It's a mind control tactic. Most people don't even realize that they've been subliminally programmed to believe and accept the news coming out and telling you and showing you something they create, such as a false assassination. But here's a lot of the programming we've seen over the years with Donald Trump and attempted assassinations.
The latest on that alleged plan to assassinate Donald Trump. This man grabbed by police at a packed rally in Las Vegas, and ABC's Pierre Thomas has new details in Washington for us. Pierre, good morning.
Good morning, David. This young man allegedly had been targeting Trump for some time. Police say planning to kill him for months.
Moments after Donald Trump took the stage at a rally at the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas last weekend, a young man approached a police officer stationed at the event and asked for an autograph. According to police, a plan to assassinate Trump was underway.
By the way, folks, while we're at it, great. So, folks, here's what happens. I will call up Carrier, the president, because I have to do it myself. I know it's not. Thank you for the warning. I was ready for him, but it's much easier if the cops do it. Don't we agree? Huh? What a great job. What a great job. And to think I had such an easy life. What do I need this for, right? What do I do?
Johnny Depp on stage at a music festival in the UK when, apparently speaking in jest, he referred to assassinating President Trump. When Depp brings up President Trump's name, the audience cheers.
I think he needs help. And, I don't know. A lot of wonderful dark places he could go.
Then Depp said this.
By the way, this is going to be in the press. It'll be horrible. When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I am outraged. Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
It's an actor dressed to look just like President Donald Trump as he's assassinated on stage. Look as his character is stabbed to death. And there's no mistaking the Trump connection. Check out the unbuttoned overcoat and red tie that hangs over his waist. It's a staging of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar that is outraging many. It all comes on the heels of that outrageous image of Kathy Griffin holding the severed head made to look like Trump. She cried during a news conference where she was both defiant and apologetic.
That apology absolutely stands. I feel horrible.
As the cast took its bow, the audience applauded with a standing ovation.
Donald Trump is a maverick, but jailing him could force a civil war-like split in America. Nigel Farage wrote it, and Nigel's with me now. That's explosive language, Nigel. What you're talking about is a dramatic split in our society. I'd put it to you, we've got a dramatic split already.
Yes, we have, but it may get worse, and here's why. The modern-day left, believe that their views are not just different to conservatives, but they're superior. And they actually believe that they are superior people for holding those views. And therefore, in order to achieve their goals, they can justify any methods. That's why you see cancel culture. It's why you see people taken out of society. And that has now gone to a level where the judiciary in America has been overtly politicized. It is being abused. What is happening to Donald Trump is a travesty. And you know, what has kept the peace and security within Western civilization is respect for the democratic process backed up by the rule of law. And if people don't trust elections, and if people don't trust the judiciary, if they think to themselves, there is nothing through peaceful means that we can do to change things, well then they start to think about other alternatives. And I genuinely think, and the situation is worse in America than it is in my country and elsewhere, but we're seeing symptoms of this too, that unless we get to understand that human beings can have different points of view that are equally valid, unless the left gives up on this total witch hunt against Trump and anybody with a conservative view, then I can see people on the conservative side beginning to take the law into their own hands. I think it's a very, very dangerous cocktail.
I'd agree with that.
So obviously, they're doing a large and a long build-up to this because, again, if they wanted him whacked, they would have whacked him already, right? That's what people say. They're like, they're after him. Don't you understand, Mr. End of the Beginning, or whatever your name is these days? Don't you understand that they're after him? If they were after him, he'd be gone.
It would be like trying to kill the president. There's no way we can get to him.
If anything in this life is certain, if history's taught us anything, it says you can kill anyone.
Okay, there's the famous quote from The Godfather, right? Anybody can be killed. You can kill anybody whenever you want to, for the most part, especially when you're the CIA and you're these intel agencies. So why wouldn't they do it yet? Well, because they're building and building and building this great division among us. And the longer that they do this for, the more pulled in people get to Trump and to Biden, right? If they did this right off the bat, there wouldn't have been as much of an uproar. Now you're going to see when this stuff goes down that half the country is going to be cheering for the assassination of a president, and the other half is going to want to rebel and split from the other half of the country. That's the programming that they're showing us. And again, it's a long build. That's how mind control works. It's a build. They have to beat it in your head long enough. And that's why I always use school as the example. You don't just go through 1 year of school learning this BS, right? The bullcrap that we learn. You go through 20 years almost of learning this stuff with a college degree. And you learn the same thing every year. It's beaten into your head. Sure, there's stuff like gym class and literature where they give you other types of Shakespearean propaganda stuff. But history, they beat a fake history into your head over and over again to the point where you actually believe that that's a reality without ever seeing it with your own eyes, without actually looking at any evidence outside of what you're taught in the school system. You just believe it based on what you're told. They beat it into your head till it becomes a reality. Well, that's what we're starting to see here. And again, it's not just a Trump assassination. It's the Civil War I've been talking about. And again, a civil war is not going to look like what you expect. Just like when they roll in, this dictatorship that's already in place, they're not going to roll down the road with tanks and things like that. It's a deception. It's making the people actually want and choose the things that they want to use to control us. So a civil war isn't going to look like the old Civil War where, everyone's running around killing each other. It's going to be a dividing of these states. It's going to be like Ireland is. It's going to be half and half, right? It's going to be like Korea. It's going to be completely divided. And that's what they're doing, and that's what the buildup is for. Now, the Civil War stuff is another seed that's been planted over and over again. And no, not through old history of the Civil War. Look at all of the movies that they know are targeted towards millennials and Gen Z about Civil War, right? Movies like Captain America: Civil War. All of these superhero movies, for the most part these days, and I don't watch any of them. I'm not going to act like I actually am an expert on them because I'm not a dork, but these superhero movies, the themes of a lot of them are Civil War, right? Wars from within. Oh, the Marvel universe and the DC universe or whatever these things. Oh, there's Civil War between characters, between good guys on the show and in the movie, in the comic book, etc. right? There's been a Civil War theme that's been underlined over and over again. So you tie in the themes of Civil War and preparing people for Civil War and having people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and all these other politicians discuss a national divorce, right? They use different code words, just like woke is communism, and people don't realize it. They say national divorce, and people are like, oh, a divorce, a national divorce. Okay, we're not going to be. It's a civil war is what they're creating. It's already in place. It's already happening right now. Doesn't need to happen with weapons and things like that. Psychologically, it's happening, right? I'm sure you all could relate. If you're around somebody who's a magic potion, right? How bad do you want out of the room? How bad do you want away from these people because they're so stupid, right? Well, they feel the same way about all of us, and this has been done by design. They believe they're 100% in the right. Now, we all know that they're 100% in the wrong, and they're 100% clueless because we understand how mind control works. We understand what's been done to them and how it's been done, because this is a psychological operation done by our own government, done by the intel agencies that people believe were created to protect us from the boogeyman over in other countries that are supposedly targeting us. Oh, we have the intel. The intel agencies by design are here, the intelligence agency, to monitor and control you, to use psychological operations on you, to herd you. So we're being herded, or I should say society's being herded, because I'm not falling for it, and I'm sure most of you aren't. Even though even as recently as yesterday, I have people commenting about how wrong I am about Trump, or people who are new to the channel, because some people have stumbled upon this brand new YouTube channel, and they're like, you're wrong, man, about this stuff. And it's like, well, where's the evidence of any of the stuff that Trump was supposed to do when he was in office? Because all we heard before he got elected was that he was draining the swamp and doing this stuff. And most of the things that occurred when Trump was in power. Operation Warp Speed, right? Getting that potion out to everybody. What else occurred? Oh, there were lockdowns when he was in power. What else occurred? Oh, free speech was removed. Platforms were banning conservatives and Christians. Where was the president to do anything about it? They don't want you to remember that stuff. They want you to be herded and sucked in. So the assassination programming is in place. I've even covered this with movies such as Dead Zone. There's lots of movies out there with predictive programming about, and specifically Dead Zone, the movie, the character, Donald Trump's character that he's playing right now is largely based off of that character. Watch the movie.
The most exciting, the most important campaign in the history of this great state.
The clips of the president in that movie wanting to go to, this is what people actually envision Trump as. Now, you might look at it and be like, well, Trump doesn't come across that way to me. Well, to Democrats, that's how they view him. And always they show us this stuff through predictive programming, always, with all the things that they do. So we see that character, right, who there's an assassination attempt against to stop him from doing what he has planned to do, which is destroy the world, right? Or he's going to, get us into a nuclear war. Well, what's the Democrat mindset? They all believe that Donald Trump is leading us to some type of nuclear war with China or Russia or whatever their boogeyman is that they decide that we're going to go to a nuclear war with, right? Well, that's all been ingrained in everyone's heads. Now, the reality is anybody paying attention would see how we wouldn't even be going to war with another country, that it's our own government who is just sabotaging us from within and is actually going to go to nuclear war on us or whatever kind of war on us, where they shut the grid down and they do all these types of things like they did in Maui to us, direct energy weapons. And again, blame it on the boogeyman like climate change. So all of this stuff is in place and they keep bringing it up for a reason. They keep bringing up and showing it to you for a reason. And I fully believe that something is going to occur. And I know, it's easy to look at it and say, well, Donald Trump would have to be the one that leads the Republicans and the conservatives into separating between the two. That's very possible. And then eventually some type of assassination thing occurs. But this is what is on the table. I mean, they don't waste their hours and their efforts doing this stuff over and over again. Johnny Depp doesn't go up there and just say that without thinking to himself, oh, wait, if I say that, I could be arrested by our own government for saying a threat against the president. I mean, that's a dead-on threat. And he's not thinking to himself, well, I'm a celebrity, I would never go to jail or anything like that. He's doing it because he knows what's coming. He knows how sigil magic and predictive programming work. So he goes up there and he's starting to summon this into existence by convincing everybody that this is what needs to happen to prevent civil war or war with other nations. So Donald Trump goes on there, and Tucker Carlson asks him the two most obvious things that we see going on. Potential assassination attempt, which Trump seems not bothered by. Multiple people have tried to rush the stage. He's 80 years old soon, and he wants to run for president again. Well, wow. I mean, you think he really cares so much about this country? He would have done stuff when he was in power to give rights back to people like us who have lost our rights just to speak freely. Okay, they're working together. They're the two perfect pawns. The Democratic Party, the completely insane side, and then you have the other side where Donald Trump is playing the role of hurting and leading these people into what they want to lead you into. So the programming is out there. Again, I had to cover it again because they're talking about it. And there's been so much stuff over the years which we've never seen before. When Bush was in power, there were talks of assassination, over and over and over again. Even with Reagan, it was just one, situation that happened. Okay, with Trump, it's like every week they're talking about an assassination, which is done by design. They're talking about it because they're preparing you for it. They're telling you in advance of what their plan is. So then when they execute the plan, you're going to believe the plan because you've been programmed to accept it and believe it as reality, just like they do in the school systems. A reminder, if you haven't subscribed to my backup channels yet, definitely do so. And please check out the website, uprisingrevival.com, if you haven't yet. That's my website. There's exclusive content over there. Lots of stuff coming up in the fall about the outbreaks, the mass, all that stuff you could not discuss here on YouTube. In fact, they've even recently come out and talked about how the WHO is going to do an even bigger job of combating anyone that talks against what they say here on the internet, and that would mean YouTube specifically, where you'll be removed. So that's stuff on the website. It's $2.99 a month. It's troll-free. Tons of information. You could share information. Check it out if you haven't. At the very least, go over there and sign up for free videos. That way, I have your email address. You can get updates on my uploads or where I am. If you're new to all this stuff, I'll be gone soon. So if you want this content, make sure you do that at the very least and subscribe to the backup channels now. I thank you guys for being here. Hope you're doing well. God bless all of you and your families.